If you've watched my video on how to make a good character, you know how to make a character with great role-playing and storytelling potential. If you have not watched that video, I would recommend watching that before watching this video. That said, let's get started with how to play an interesting character. In this video I will try to give some advice on how to make use of that storytelling, role-playing potential of the character you have made. First off, don't be afraid to roleplay. It may be goofy, people may laugh, but it's all in good fun. No one is expecting a professional acting performance. So just try role-playing, go wild and have fun while doing it. Let your character make mistakes. You might raise your eyebrows at that, but this is important. In most situations, there's usually a good or clever solution, and while it is rewarding to find that solution and use it, I would encourage you not to do that. Instead, ask yourself, what would my character do in this situation? And then have him do that, even though it might not be a good or clever solution to the situation or problem at hand. In some cases, it might even create more problems. But therein lies the fun. More problems just means more challenges for your character to overcome, more struggle, more storytelling, more role-playing. You will find that the most memorable stories that players tell about role-playing sessions is not when their characters triumph, but it's usually when they mess up spectacularly and then somehow bumble their way through the ensuing chaos. Bonus points if the character fails because of his weakness. That will give him strong motivation to overcome this weakness and for character development. Though, keep in mind, if your character messes up all of the time, he becomes a liability for the group. This goes hand in hand with my advice to create the character together with the group and don't give the character weaknesses that make him unplayable. Let your character have human emotions. Let him be happy, sad, angry. Let him fall in love and then be devastated when he loses that love. You're not playing a rock. Unless you are playing a rock, but then the lack of emotions should be one of your core character concepts. Maybe he is a hardcore stoic, never showing his emotions and keeping them hidden deep inside, and then silently crying when he feels alone. Or maybe he is an outright robot, unable to understand the behavior of his emotional human compatriots, struggling to understand the rest of humanity, constantly wondering, marveling about his companions' emotions and trying to understand them. But there should only be one rock in the group. A rock needs an emotional character to play off on, so you have scenes contrasting the two concepts. Back to topic. Let your character have human emotions. Ask yourself, how would my character feel in any given situation, and then play him that way. Would he be sad after losing a friend? Or furious? Is he afraid of the nasty undead monster? Does he run away rather than fight it? Or will he face it anyway, even though his sword is trembling in his hand? This also goes back to letting your character make mistakes. People make mistakes when they are overwhelmed with emotions. Let your character be changed by what he experiences. Now, not all games are the same. And if you're playing very episodic one-shots instead of a coherent campaign, playing an iconic character, one that doesn't really change through the course of all of his adventures, might be an option. Something like Conan the Barbarian, James Bond, or Homer Simpson don't really change throughout all of the stories they are in. In a campaign, however, it is satisfying to let the characters have an arc and come out as a different person than what they began the story as. This is a bit reflected by the level progression, but you should not be afraid to change everything else about the character as well. His appearance, his outlook on life, his morals, his values, to reflect how the events of the campaign impacted and changed the character. One of the most satisfying story arcs is for a character to overcome their weakness, either by getting rid of it, working around it, or even making it one of their strengths. And especially in a long-running campaign, it is not uncommon for a character to pick up new weaknesses along the way. With high levels and high power often comes overconfidence and arrogance, and sometimes you lose a literal arm and a leg getting there. Work together with your GM. Be open to what the GM describes you, what he lets happen to your character. Even if it is bad for your character, trust your GM that he is not punishing your character for his own sadistic amusement. You GMs out there, don't satisfy your sadistic needs on the PCs, unless they ask for it. Offer background and plot suggestions to your GM, but don't force them on him. I myself appreciate player input and sometimes even ask for it. You have a character arc in mind, some story you would like to tell, you need some plot points for your character development. That's great, I'll try working it into the plot. But if your GM already has some ideas in mind, don't be upset if he doesn't use your input. Play with your group. Your role-playing, your character's weaknesses, struggles and failures should make the game more fun for everyone at the table. Talk to them. Integrate them into your character arcs. Let your character have relations to other PCs and NPCs, be it as friends, lovers, rivals, or enemies. Final remark. Don't use your role-playing as an excuse for being an arsehole. If you make a character that is chaotic evil, steals from the party, murders important plot NPCs, or a character that is so much of an edgelord loner that he can't work together with the rest of the party, you are doing it wrong. That's all I have for today. So let me give a question back to you. What is the best character moment you remember? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and goodbye.